Hello everyone, this is TJ for TJOmega.org, and sitting beside me, you might not know their faces, but these men have murdered many of your favorite characters in the past. They are, let me read them, Ben, am I reading that right? Okay.
Yes, I know it's a very difficult name, lots of letters in there.
Make sure I get that right. No, we have Ben Singer, we have Chad James, better known as Wiz and Boomstick.
What's going on?
Death Battle.
I'm Wiz and he's Boomstick. It's our job to analyze weapons, armors, and skills and then kill all your favorite characters.
Exactly.
And we love doing it.
Okay, so of course this is the playground argument, who could beat who.
Yeah.
Turning it into this full animated, dubbed over web series, how did this all start for you?
Way back in like 2009. Ben had an idea for 2 different shows, and we made the wrong one first.
Several years ago, I knew, or I was working on another show. It was kind of like a skit-based show, and that was wrapping up. And I was thinking, okay, well, it's time to create a new show. And I started thinking up ideas, and one of them was Death Battle, originally just called the standard pitch name of who would win.
Yeah.
And the reason why I did it, because I knew a lot of other guys at the ScrewAttack.com offices. They were into Deadliest Warrior,
Right.
which is kind of a similar show, similar premise, take 2 different...
Who would win, a samurai or a Spartan?
Yeah, warriors
Sci-fi
of
show.
history and see who would win in a fight. So it was kind of based off of that, except with the fictional characters.
Nerd culture.
The super nerdy version of Deadliest Warrior, plus the personality that I think ScrewAttack delivers way better than Deadliest Warrior would.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, but aside from the show itself, the characters, Wiz, Boomstick, it was very Sunday. Okay, how did the personas come about?
We actually originally was like, these 2 combatants are fighting to the death, and we're gonna be really hardcore, and like we're both supposed to be hardcore, and like he was supposed to be like the science kind of guy, and I was supposed to be like the weapons expert. And then we voiced over. So our first, in the very beginning, it was like, all right, we're gonna analyze this, and like both of us were doing it, and it just didn't kind of sound right. So like, I then was like, if I'm supposed to do this weapons expert, like I don't know, I'm gonna make a really like kind of endearing character. So I kind of took a little bit of like Adam Baldwin and like Sarge and like just random like endearing rednecky type people, and kind of smashed them into one, and then that voice came out like that.
over the course of the first about 10 or so episodes, the characters really changed. Like if you go back and watch the first episode, Wiz has this kind of gruzzly sounding voice. A lot of reviews actually thought it was just one person doing both characters for some reason. It was really weird. And then by episode 10, we had kind of developed our characters into separate things. Wiz's voice gets more and more, I guess, normal over the course of
Because he's still doing hardcore.
episodes.
It's like let's like make it a little nerdier, I guess.
Yeah, become more of the, because it is kind of a straight man, crazy hick, I guess, duo.
All right.
Kind of thing going on. So one of us needs to sound relatively normal so that people can, listen to it and not be annoyed.
Yeah, it's very familiar for like wrestling fans. You've always got the color guy and the commentator. But how about the concept itself? Like when you decide, okay, these 2 guys are gonna, and I don't want to say scientific. That seems wrong somehow, but calculated.
Okay.
Okay, tell me about the concept now for each fight.
For picking
Like for
fights?
determining a winner?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just generally from who's going to be good in a fight, and then how do you get to the one who
Overall
doesn't
process,
die?
then.
Yeah.
The overall process of Death Battle. We take a lot of fan suggestions about who should be
they want to
fighting
see
each
fight.
other. Yeah, because it's all about, Death Battle is a very fan servicey show.
Right.
Everybody wants to see these certain characters fight, and it would be kind of a sin to not indulge them. But every so often we do fights that we
Sometimes
want
we'll
to do.
just do like this next one.
Yeah, like the one we're premiering here at Asylum, Fox McCloud versus
Bucky O'Hare.
Bucky O'Hare, who nobody in the world remembers, but they will after this episode, hopefully.
You know what? As soon as I saw that was debuting here, I wondered, do they realize one of the stars from the show is actually here this weekend?
From Bucky?
For Bucky?
Scott McNeil.
Scott did Bucky voice?
He did. He was Dead-Eye Duck.
Oh, he was! Oh, I totally
That's
totally
hilarious.
blanked on that.
Some of us remember Bucky.
There you go. That's awesome. Actually, we're gonna have to go talk to him.
Oh,
That'd
man.
be great.
Yeah. Crap. I can't believe I totally blanked on
That
that.
guy really has done work everywhere. It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's all over the place. But anyway, overall process of the show, after we decide on a fight, obviously it has to be a matchup that would be interesting and not necessarily a blowout. We have done a couple blowout matches
Just because they're so requested, like Thor versus Raiden. It makes sense because it's like, they're both gods of thunder,
Yeah,
like,
so it was kind of a blowout, but it was a very entertaining blowout. So
Right.
that works. But there are some matchups that we get requests for that we think would never work. Like Ryu versus Goku is often requested, which would never
There's
work.
no-
But then we do a ton of research on both characters, usually using as many sources as possible, unless we specifically limit it to specific sources. And then we argue
Yep.
a lot.
A lot.
A lot. And we try to...
I'll choose a side, he'll choose a side, and we argue why this person should win and go back and forth between, like, will this counter this? And be like, I think this person's going to win because this is going to happen. I'll be like, oh, I don't know, I think this person can do this ability, so that means that it could probably do this. Has there been any, in this episode, he survived a laser blast, and that's a lot similar to what that would be doing, so he could totally survive that. It's a stupid amount of nerdy research.
Yeah, it's incredibly nerdy. We probably know way too much, way more about these nerdy things than any living being should know. But
it also changed the way that we view media now. So like, anytime we see something happen, and like, so writers, they just think of stuff like, especially like older stuff, man. But like, they'll just write something, and like a character just does something, But then we're like, oh god, if we ever use that character in a death battle, now we have to actually figure out how that person did that, and like what that means.
Right.
Yeah.
He-Man was awful.
Yeah, He-Man.
Oh, no.
He-Man can do all sorts of ridiculous things that are
Yeah.
completely unexplainable, but it's our job to do that.
Yeah.
Gotta move
it's
a
a lot
river.
of-
I'll need to create a vacuum, and then he just runs.
Yeah,
the
a lot of
circle.
one episode things. The plot needs me to do this. So
Yeah, exactly.
Then again, you made Koopa versus Goomba work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but that one was so
That
much
was
fun.
just,
That-
yeah,
oh.
that was a lot of fun.
I mean, every so often we will do one that maybe isn't exactly requested, but we just think would be hilarious to see.
Starscream Rainbow Dash.
Starscream Rainbow Dash, Goomba versus Koopa, Yoshi versus Riptor was never requested, but that's
Right.
hilarious. Oh, and Bieber versus Black. Justin Bieber versus Rebecca
That was
Black.
just for fun.
Yeah. I kind of answers what I was going to ask. Is there anything that you wanted to do, didn't quite work out, or?
Ben has one that he wanted to do, and then once we looked at it, we were like, there's no way that'll ever happen.
Originally, the Harry Potter versus Luke Skywalker fight was going to be Harry Potter versus Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Then I hadn't watched through Avatar at that point. I have now. I actually think it's a really well done series. But I checked out Aang, like his final fight against the Fire Lord or whatever, and saw him completely destroying things, and decided that it would not be very fun to watch because
Yeah.
Harry Potter would get annihilated
Yeah.
in seconds. So it was changed to Luke.
Yeah. Understandable. I can control all these elements, and my opponent has a stick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't work. The one thing that you always go into is this is going to start an argument.
Oh yeah.
Every time. Like, how do you guys handle the backlash that's going to come from?
Well, we've been working on the internet for a long time, so backlash to
Really?
us is just funny. So
I
like,
wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah. Even before Death Battle, we've done a lot of shows, and so we're so used to either criticism or whatever. It's the internet. Everybody
Yeah.
has that veil of anonymity, so they can just go off. So to us, it's not a big deal at all. It just rolls right off the back. So
I mean, the phrase "don't feed the trolls" definitely applies, and it helps a lot with the show's integrity and the appearance of the hosts. you
and our
know.
fans argue for us. That's
And
the best
the
part, too.
fans argue for us, yes. And really, what it comes down to is the more people arguing about it and posting videos and blogs and stuff about how we're wrong, that's just more publicity for us. That's more people.
Which we're not wrong with.
Yeah, we're never wrong. But that's more people going back and watching the episode, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. If you want to rant about us, go ahead.
Yeah.
Just tell everybody else about it. as well.
Exactly.
Well, there was the one fight. I know that started a lot of arguments. What was the aftermath of Goku versus Superman for you?
That was the craziest.
I could not go on my Facebook page for
Yeah.
months because all it was just
Constant.
filled with death threats and stuff like that.
Hate,
Lovely.
like people like ranting like why we're wrong and stuff. And it's just a lot of people don't like to see their favorite characters die. You know, the thing.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
It's
and
completely understandable.
every single episode we put out, we're biased. That's what like no matter what. But we actually we're not. We really don't. Like there's been I don't know how many times I've had the conversation with like, man, it really sucks. Now I have to kill one of my favorite characters. You know, like John Lee and like stuff like that. So I mean, we're not. We take it out. We really do the research and try and really determine who would win. And then the other person sadly has to die. So we hear you, but a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
And Goku especially is so dear in the hearts of so many people that him dying piss off a lot of people. So
Yeah, I'm kind of in Camp Goku on that one.
I'm more of a fan of Goku than Superman, but
Yeah. I mean, Goku especially in a lot of hero characters like that are all about inspiring people. Those are always the hardest to take. You know, we can kill off, who was one recently that we killed off that was just like a villain? A lot of villains that we kill off, people don't care as much. Yeah, Bison, when Bison dies, not as many people really care because it's, you know.
But then that just starts the argument of Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm more of a Street Fighter guy than Mortal Kombat.
That's what always comes out of it instead. It's not whether or not Bison would win, it's whether or not Street Fighter would win.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, spoiler, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of those are better.
Yeah. Right. So I guess that kind of brings me to the last question. In particular, just to level the playing field, because these guys are, you know, that's the gamble of death battle. You watch and you got 50-50 odds your favorite character is going to die.
Right.
Just to level the playing field, some of the ones you were particularly upset about having to.
About having to axe.
Yeah.
Chun-Li for me.
Hagar as well.
Hagar
for both of us.
that was a hard fight. Yeah, Hagar is.
Definitely the Ninja Turtle one. Donatello is my favorite turtle, and he had the most brutal death in there.
Yeah, I was like, what if he just stabbed the shit out of him? So, you had to animate it too. That's funny.
Yeah, that was back when I was animating.
No, so, I mean, there's a bunch of those.
Yeah,
like a lot of the characters. There's really, I don't think we've ever done a death battle on a character that I just hate. You know?
I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man, and
That's true.
I had to have Spider-Man kill him.
That's true. I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man either. I've never really liked him that much as a character.
Yeah.
And like Batman's way cooler, but
5 years ago, I would have agreed with you.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would have disagreed actually. That's another debate.
Carnage is way better.
Carnage.
Thank you.
Oh man.
I love Carnage.
Okay,
I would
he's
love
my
to bring,
favorite now.
I would love to bring Carnage. Oh well.
We've talked about doing Carnage and Death Battle.
Carnage
that
and Death
character
Battle,
is so
yeah.
much fun. He is a psychopath.
It might be a nightmare to animate.
Yeah, the blood.
Yeah, it'd be tricky.
Yeah.
Blood, tentacles going everywhere.
It'd be tricky. I don't think we would be able to just resort to sprites for something like Carnage.
Yeah.
You could do like something that was requested that I think would be kind of interesting is Carnage versus Green Lantern, because they can both kind of create things.
Yeah.
So it could be
knows?
interesting.
I like that. I like that a lot. So, these guys have a premiere this weekend,
Yep.
and hopefully, by the time this is up, you will have something to look forward to.
Yeah, it'll be airing next week. So.
Excellent, excellent. So yeah, go check it out, guys. You know, there's going to be a space animal dying. Okay,
That's true.
you have to see this. So, Wiz, Boomstick, thank you very much for sitting down with me.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And stay tuned, guys. I'm still at Asylum. I've still got a lot to show you guys, so keep it right here.
See you later.